Hello, welcome to another dose of philosophical talks. I just genuinely love talking about deep things, and I love learning about wisdom and all this fun stuff. And this is something that I really like to think about, and it's not even super deep, but based on the title, like I said, nothing changes if nothing changes, and if you really think about it, like nothing does change if nothing changes. Think about it, like if slice of toast falls on the ground, right? It's just gonna stay there until you pick it up, or until like a mouse eats it or something, right? Like, so it's gonna be stagnant. So think about your life, right? If you are living your constant life and you have this whatever routine and you're unhappy with your life right now and you want something different, but if you're living that same life and repeating that same cycle, you're not going to get anything different because nothing's changing. That piece of toast is still on the floor, and if you don't pick it up and throw it away or eat it, 5-second rule, so you can eat it, and if you don't do any of that, it's going to be on the ground. The cheese from Diary of the Wimpy Kid. A Wimpy Kid. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I don't know if you read those books. Love that series. But anyways, like it's gonna be moldy, it's gonna sit there and stay there, right? So this could be applied to anything. Like nothing will change if nothing changes. If you're constantly doing the same thing over and over again, hanging out with the same people, playing the same amount of video games, doing some other random things, fueling the other addictions that you might have in your life, like anything in your life, like nothing will change if you don't enforce that change. And this could be towards something negative or positive, right? You could stop doing things or start doing things, but it starts from you wanting to change. My room was completely disgusting and messy. And when you are in like a flow or like a cycle of doing something and you start to like accept things in your reality and you're like, this is how it is, and you're like, I really want to change it, I'm gonna do it later, I'm gonna push it off, and then you like actually like do it because it's getting to a point where like, girl, like if you don't do it, you're gonna lose your mind. So I decided I am gonna do a deep cleaning of my room. And after, like, now I'm like, how did I live in that disgusting space or that terrible space, so it just goes to show we as human beings, we just don't like change. Think about our ancestors. They literally were hunters and gatherers, always constantly on fight or flight because they didn't know if they were gonna get eaten by whatever predator. They didn't know if they were ever gonna get their prey and literally get food. So they were they were living in constant pressure and fear and stress. So think about like when they had that ounce of comfort, when they had that ounce of like, yes, like we have fire and we're cooking that meat, we're gonna eat well tonight, sleep well because we know this is a safe, charted territory. You know what I mean? Like that comfort that we so craved, we finally got once in a while. So now, where is the fight or flight for a lot of us, right? I know in some countries it's different, but for many of us, especially if you're watching this video, you live in probably a first world country, or maybe if you don't, you still live in a pretty good place because you have access to internet and you can see me. But yeah, so that's why like we crave comfort, like because our freaking ancestors, and also we're like like humans existing on this planet, very, very fresh, still very, very new. The earth is billions of years old. Billions. We haven't even existed for, I don't want to get my facts wrong because I know there's some people out there that are like, no, you're wrong. So let's see. Homo sapiens evolved around 300,000 years ago. All right, or approximately 200. Okay, 200 to 300. How old is the earth? Let's ask Google. 4-something billion? Okay, 4.453 billion. 4.453 billion years old, this planet. And we've only existed for 200,000 years, bro. We're barely born. All right, we're like this. So we crave comfort. We want to just stay stagnant because it's comfortable. If nothing is too bad in our life, if it's working for us and it worked yesterday, so it's gonna work tomorrow, you're here. right? And it's fine, it's comfortable, it's what you want, it's what your ancestors wanted, so you want that. But here's the thing, us as human beings, we are very aware and we are very conscious, and we see things, and we know that, life is more. We know that people are living this life. We know that people are becoming multi-freaking millionaires. We know that there's some people that make like however much we make in a year in a month. There are some people that literally don't have to work a day in their life because they're already retired. We know that's out there because of social media and because of what we've seen and what we've heard. So we want that for ourselves too, right? Who doesn't want that? So therefore, like, we want these things. We want these bigger things. But our life is like this. Like, we're constantly cycling over the same thing. We're not working on ourselves. You know what we do? What you probably do? You look at people and you're like, oh, that person, that's a scammer. Oh, that millionaire, he's a bad person. Well, like, we victimize ourselves to make us feel better. Number one, we're like, oh, I can get, like, my environment doesn't let me, like, I don't have the genetics, my parents are not rich, I didn't grow up in wealth, all these things that you might state. Or you try to validate yourself by saying, oh, like, they're probably unhappy. Oh, like, making that much money that's not going to make you happy. We validate ourselves by saying, oh, like, they're doing this because they're bad people, they're rude people, they're evil people, they're trying to steal stuff, and I can never get there. So you make yourself feel better. So you either, like, victimize yourself or try to make yourself feel better for the position that you're at, and then, like, nothing changes because nothing changes. So how do you change? You change by being aware of your environment. You change by being disgusted. Okay, you have to have some big negative emotion with this. Like, you have to be really grossed out and repulsed by the life that you are living or could possibly end up living in. You have to be like so disgusted, because if you're constantly living in this comfort bubble, like, why would you want to change? But if you are repulsed, and I know this is a little extreme, right? But I've seen this work for myself. Like, if I I really dread wanting that, like, I dread having this sort of life, then that's gonna push me to, that's gonna destroy this comfort level line that I'm at, where I'm doing the same thing, I'm cycling over again. For example, with my room, I was disgusted. When I saw my room, I was like, what the actual flip? Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I so inherently lazy to clean my room? Like, or acting lazy to clean my room? Like, I'm not lazy, I was acting lazy. Words. But anyways, like, why was I doing this? It's not that hard to pick up my, like, clothes from the freaking floor. It's not hard to fold my clothes. It's not hard to, like, whatever. Like, it's not hard to organize my books. I was disgusted with where I was at. And you have to do that in your own life. And how do you do that? Well, that kind of falls upon you, and that falls upon your awareness, really, right? Like, you watch this video, you're aware of this now, right? So you have to, like, have that thing in you, that desire in you to, like, change, because you hate your situation right now. So you got to destroy that comfort line and, be aware of your current physical reality, right? And be aware of the life that you're living. What are you eating? What are you thinking? What are you doing on a daily basis? Be aware of all of that. And catch yourself when you think negatively. Catch yourself when you think, when you're speaking negative things towards yourself or others. Catch yourself when you're in a victim mentality. Catch yourself doing all these things. And you have to really dislike your life. And chances are a lot of people do. A lot of people do. But they rewire those thoughts. They change their own thoughts, and they're like, it's okay though. Like, they validate themselves. But you have to be really disgusted with the way that you're going. I'm using very strong negative words, but remember, like, we have, like, a lot of us are in this this line of just satisfaction, this line of just, okay, I'm surviving, right? But we want bigger things. We want bigger things. We have to destroy this comfort barrier, and that's what I've noticed with myself. And therefore, I cleaned my room. I organized my life. I'm trying to clean my thoughts and clean my thoughts. Now, I'm trying to shift my thoughts and change my mindset. And I'm still working on it. And I'm sharing this journey. I hope that you at least gain some awareness in your life. and look at the trajectory of your life and remind yourself, if nothing changes, nothing will change. Period. Okay? Like that piece of toast that I mentioned in the beginning of the video. If it's on the floor, it's going to stay on the floor unless something else moves it, but it's always going to stay on the floor. It's not going to move, right? So with your life, like, if you decide, you know, tomorrow I'm going to wake up early and go to the gym, shift, right? That shifts that comfort line, because normally you don't do that, but that's shifting it. And you gradually create changes like this as well. So yeah, I hope this helped you, and I hope it helps you recognize that if nothing changes, nothing changes, and do with that what you wish to do. Okay? Bye. Love you.